have any questions about anything you did before we get started?
No, I don't think so. I would say like the inventor one, I
Mm-hmm.
really liked it,
Oh,
but
good.
I did feel like I felt like I had to like look up and translate with the internet a lot,
Okay. Okay.
especially on like writing about an inventor because I just like I don't
There were
feel
too
like I
many
have
words you
enough
didn't
too
know.
many
Okay.
words that like
Uh-huh.
I didn't know. And so like
Okay.
even when I tried to like really simplify it down, do you know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? Like as much as like seemed reasonable while there was still
Sure.
information,
Sure.
it was that piece of it was really hard.
Okay, that's good feedback.
So
Thank you. But you did a good job if you looked it all up because you wrote it very well. Sometimes all the Googling or more like Google Translate can lead to disasters, but you did it well. So,
so
yeah.
and I try I
Um,
mean yeah.
it's an interesting thought, actually. I wonder if maybe moving that to the end of the unit after you've seen enough invention words and other things maybe would make that easier. All right, it's something to think
Yeah.
about maybe for next time.
Yeah.
But that's good feedback. Thank you. Okay, so you didn't yet probably have a chance to do the ways
I didn't
activity.
do Ace, correct.
Okay.
That's the only one I didn't get to.
Okay, good. So this will be a preview for it. These are all of these prefix words. We ran into a few last week with the she and kishe. So these are a few more. Me and le. Do you know what those ones mean?
Uh, from and
Hmm.
to, or
Exactly.
like
And
of
ki
and
means
to, because.
exactly, yeah. Or for sometimes even. So
Okay.
in preparation for the driving type talk, see if you can come up with sentences that incorporate these. Ani Ritsalin soa, me, wherever you want to go from, le, wherever you want to go to, ki, for whatever reason you want to go to that place.
Okay. All in a single sentence or
Or
different?
multiple sentences, whatever. It doesn't need to be one
Okay.
large sentence.
אני רוצה לנסוע מקולומביה, מיזורי,
Hmm.
לפלורידה,
Ooh.
כי קר מאוד בקולומביה, מיזורי.
Good, and you succeeded in doing it all in one sentence. Excellent. Okay, good. So you'll see a lot of that linsoa. I don't know if that's a verb that you've encountered before, but that's important for this to
Is it
travel.
to try? Okay.
Yes.
What is the difference between linsoa and litayelet?
Okay, good. So I was going to say there is a distinction. In English, we can just say to go, right? And it can mean I'm going to Florida, I'm going to the mall, I'm going to the bathroom. You can use the same word for all of it, right?
Right.
But in Hebrew, lalechet means specifically just to walk. So we're only talking about places you can physically walk to. You would not say any rotsa lalechet la Florida. That wouldn't make too much sense. Litayel means specifically I'm going on a trip there. Right. So if you were telling me about a trip you're taking to Florida, Latayel could work the exact way that Limsoa would. But if you're telling me that I'm traveling to Florida for a business trip, then you wouldn't be using Latayel. So the intention of the trip becomes a defining factor there, whether it's like a pleasure or not. Limsoa would work either way. It's only Latayel that's specifically based on whether there's
more
a
has like
dual
the vacation
aspect.
connotation.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And then the other thing with Litayel is you could say, Anachnu Mitailim, I'm trying to think of something nearby you. You could pick something that's 5 minutes away and still Tiyul would be correct there. If it's we're walking around, we're doing a Tiyul, we're doing some kind of vacation-y thing, whereas you would not want to use Lim Soa there because, it's 5 minutes away.
So if you're like going to the trail to bike or hike or like something, it's like tail, you can do tail, but not,
Exactly.
To the mall, like, would you say like?
Yeah, probably not. Probably
not.
It's more like the
like trying to...
Yeah, no, it's good you're asking. anything, it's Litayel is really exclusively for things that are either like active hiking, biking type things, or like vacationing. You know, anything that's like errandy, or, you know, I'm going to school, I'm going to work, that you wouldn't want to use.
Limsoa. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. And Limsoa also just in general means like to journey. So you can also get more specific than that. Like if you're flying on an airplane, do you know what word you'd use there?
I feel like if I saw it, I would recognize it because I know I have known the word.
Do you remember how to say airplane in Hebrew?
No.
Okay, so an airplane is a matos, mem tet vav samech, and then verb comes from that same root, so it's latus, and that means to fly. So again, you know, unless you're 2 minutes away from Florida, you could say Limsoa, Florida, and that's correct. But if you're going on an airplane specifically, you could also say latus, Florida. I'm flying.
Okay.
Fantastic. And then Limsoa you'd use, you know, also for driving or any other form of transportation. Okay, great.
Is there another verb also for driving?
No, like you'd really, like if you're using your car to get from one place or another, you would just use Limsoa. You know, even you'll see when you get to Waze at the beginning, when you get to that activity, the beginning of Waze after you put it in, if you program it in Hebrew, they'll always tell you Nesiya Tova, like have a safe journey before you go on your car trip. That's really the word that they use there. Okay, so that's prep for the Waze for you. This is a review then of all the Hamsaot, the inventions. So hopefully we'll be able to review some of that invention vocabulary. You can tell me about any invention or inventor that you liked from what you learned, or if there's something that was not included on that Padlet, or that you even saw reference in the upcoming activities list. If there's anything beyond those things, you can choose that instead. So I just sent you the link. Yeah,
I'm there. Okay. Okay, so right where, because I don't see anything to like add it in.
Oh, okay, yes. Yeah, so this is like a bit of a different style. We did the columns type before. It's just a like layout of a Padlet. All the way on your bottom right corner, you should see a pink plus sign. Do you see that?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, click that and then it'll just pop up a post for you.
Okay. Oh, and now I need to think of it off the top of my head. This is where I'm not as good. Like looking at stuff or listening to stuff is much easier for me. My brain, I don't know.
It's true. In general,
too old to learn another language.
Yeah. A lot of people
relearn.
When they make Aliyah say, I can understand all the Hebrew, but the speaking is the difficult part. That's also.
I feel like even when I was there before and like knew much more, because I would try to speak in Hebrew, but there'd be all these pauses, and so many Israelis know English that then they'd be like, oh, no, don't worry. And they just like start speaking in English. And I was like, well, how am I supposed to learn how to speak, speak better or understand you more? Like, I don't want you to repeat it in English. I want you to repeat it in Hebrew so I can try to figure it out.
Right. No, you're right. You're right. Or they'll just hear your American accent and they won't even give you a chance. They'll just launch into English.
Yeah, that's fine.
But here we're forcing you to do Hebrew. So.
No, it's good. I need it. I have a little trouble with which is not like you all, it's like for my own learning, like the way the vocabulary lists are presented and stuff is not a format that is great for me. And I haven't been as good as I should be of like reformatting it for like what I know I need. So I have a little trouble actually learning the vocabulary.
More helpful for you?
I think everything on one page would be more helpful for start. Like I appreciate the pictures and all, but it means like you're like scrolling and like searching through columns.
Okay, that's good to know.
And I think also, I don't know, I feel like other times when I've done stuff, like you would learn young and you would learn old at the same time. Like the words feel related. And
Sure.
sometimes on the vocabulary lists, the words seem very like random almost, which makes it hard to like think about it as a group of like how you're, for me, like how I'm learning it. So like all the inventions like are clearly like all related, and I get that like the other stuff like and you know, like all those like these are like things that like potentially are like how you're describing the inventions, but it like the words themselves outside of that context don't feel like they're connected. Somehow.
Gotcha.
That's also me. I could rewrite the words, which I should be doing anyway, and I'm not because I'm
no, but it's always
sort
good
of
to
lazy
and know how people are finding it. Now it's always room for improvement for sure.
Also, I did have another question. Sorry, and then I am going to do the activity.
Go for it.
Is there a particular reason that the verbs are not like all given in the infinitive or all given in a particular format? Because
yeah, there is actually a reason for that.
That's really confusing to me.
It can be, yeah. There's a style that all of these types of classes are built off of. It's called the proficiency method. Have you heard of it before? Yeah, so the proficiency method approach to language acquisition, there's like layers of when certain types of vocabulary and grammar are supposed to be introduced. So in the most basic, like Machina class level, there are no like Shemot Poal at all, like Lalechet, Le'echol, none of that exists at all there, because based on the proficiency method's approach, you aren't supposed to be thinking that way when you're starting. You know, get the word and the word conjugation completely wrong. Who cares? Just, you know, say some version of it. That's fine. And then as you kind of progress from there, now we're 2 stages past that in 1B. Things are slowly being introduced, but it's still not, and especially, you know, in the typical way that I know a lot of us grew up learning Hebrew, where you learn the Avar, Hoveh, Atid, you learn the Binyanim chart, you learn a lot of that. It almost feels counterintuitive to learn it this way. But it is built specifically based on that type of method, where the idea is when you want to get to it from a place of ideal fluency where you can eventually, you know, truly be fluent, but even in the meantime, just be able to speak. Even if you're not perfect, you can make yourself understood in the language. That's like the method behind it. Whether or not, you know, every person connects to that is it's obviously individual, but that is the idea behind it. Does that make any sense?
No, that makes sense. I just like, yeah, it's just, I feel like I don't know what some of the things, like, I assume that it's masculine for any of them, right? Like, if they give like the form, but so like, I mean, I somewhat, you know, like remember different conjugations or the different families, so like can try to adjust it. But like then some of them do have it.
Right.
And like,
so if it's like a root, then or like a infinitive type, then they're not going to put the gender because it's just neutral. If it's, you know, a past tense verb, then, you know, we will show the different versions of, you know, male, female, past, present, whatever it is there. But that is kind of verb dependent, because there are verbs that are meant for you just to recognize as you read, and there's ones that you're really supposed to now learn and understand and be able to conjugate on your own. And that is based on that method of, you know, is it right now we're just mainly working in past tense. Starting in the next unit, we'll start recognizing future. But you're not even supposed to know until you get into 2A, the next unit, how to conjugate future. You're just supposed to know right now how to recognize it. You know, so I think in this case, almost the fact that you have so much background is almost what's making it more confusing. You know, other people that don't know that there is more to it. But
so
I can
very, very possible.
Yeah.
So Okay, so let me think about inventions and
But also, as you're, going through vocab lists or anything, if you get stuck on any word or you're curious, is this, future, past, male, female, you can also just shoot me an email or anything, and I'm happy to help you out with any of that.
yeah. Okay, so let's, oops. So because so if I'm saying like the invention, or I guess I could even say invention, but since I typed
Sure.
the invention, I'll leave it there.
Yes.
So like the invention I love is, do I need to put the who or the he or the who, I guess, because
so in this case,
it has the ani ohevet?
Right. So hamsa'a, actually, hey is part of the word itself. So if you wanted to say the invention, you would have a double hey, ha hamsa'a.
Okay.
Right. And if you wanted to say the invention that I love is, then you would want to say he, because hamsa'a is in feminine.
Okay. But you wouldn't say like with the et, right? She'eni ohevet.
Correct.
Et,
you don't need the et.
Whatever, because I don't necessarily love the thing I'm saying. It's like I'm talking about the invention.
Well, it's more about the structure of the sentence. Since you started it with the noun, hamsa'a shani ohevet, who, or he, or however you'd want to go from there, you could go that way. But if you started it from ani ohevet et hamsa'a, blah, 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 then you would still use et there. You're starting more
okay, I see. Yeah. Right. No, that makes sense. Okay. Hamsa'a shani ohevet. Can you say a telephone chacham? How do you say a smartphone? Or is it just a smartphone?
They just, people just say telephone, so they say cell phone here.
Okay. They still use Pelphone, even though the brand isn't?
Yeah, it is interesting, right? It's stuck around.
Okay, so I need to switch this. Okay, interesting. Because when I was in college, that was what everyone had, was the Pelphones, and we used to get
telephone company.
If we called from the line in the dorm to someone like an Israeli we had met, and it was their Pelphone, not their cell phone. And then there was like the extra charge on the Bezek thing for each time you called, and it wasn't like
those
line.
Plans were a fortune. Thank God it's changed, but yeah.
Okay.
It's like a slang word. If you said like, telephone, people wouldn't still know what you're talking about. But telephone is like understood as cell phone specifically.
Okay. That's so
nowadays with nobody
also,
really having a home phone. If you say telephone, then people assume it means cell phone because that's just the phones people have now. So the same way, like even in English, I feel like you could say my phone, and you don't even need to specify anymore. My cell phone. People just know that you mean your cell phone. So
right.
It could work the same way.
That's not what to do. Oh, nope. Is that right for plural? You'll tell me. That's fine.
I don't see that you added anything else after he telephone. Did you add more after that?
Chadashim? Yeah, it goes on to the next line.
Or
maybe it doesn't.
Just refresh.
Okay.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
You got it.
Okay. not where I wanted. How would, oh wait, it was in the vocab, one of the vocab lists. I don't know if it's this one though.
Which word are you trying to come up with?
Apps. I know it was in the ways thing. I just can't remember what it like. I know it's like close, the pronunciation when you like sound it out in the Hebrew. Aplicación.
Aplicación.
No, that's Spanish.
You got it. No, you're not wrong. Aplicación. Yes, I think it's.
I don't remember how to spell it.
Aleph, Pei, Lamed, Kuf, Tzadi, Yud, Vav, Taf. Aplicación.
Tzadi, Yud, Vav, Taf. No, yeah. I did it wrong. Applicación.
Yud, Vav, Taf.
Yud, Vav. Applicación. Let's pronounce it for me again.
Applicación.
Applicación. Got it. So applicación. Okay. No. So, not sure if that's right or not.
Okay. Yeah, good. You would probably want to say יש לפלאפון חדשים את כל האפליקציות שמישהו יכול לרצות. So probably an et.
So they have, okay.
All of, and then it'll be ha-applications, the applications.
Okay, so I see what you're saying. Okay.
Excellent. Okay, good. So let me just show you next week. Okay, so you still have the inventions and ways.
I did the inventions.
Okay.
I thought. So did I not turn that in? I thought I finished it.
Last I saw that I didn't say the work was done, but I can check it again.
I did some stuff this morning before,
okay.
So I might
I'll check. You might have not hit
that in, but it's possible I closed out without submitting, in which case I will redo it.
I'll double check it also, no problem. I think it's too. You shouldn't have to redo. Okay, so then we've also got the Guinness World Records. We want to do 4 through 7 for this week. So up in for just Unit 3 up till 7. So this is a wiser about the Guinness World Records. And since it's in Hebrew, we're talking about the world records that have been broken in Israel. So there's 3 little short videos of different world records that have been broken. So there's a dictionary before each one. They're each only, a minute long. There is some closed captioning at the bottom. And then there's a chart to fill out the words that you knew, some matching games to review some of the harder words, and then questions to make sure you understood what went on in each video. And then throughout this, we want you picking up on the word hachi, the most, because we'll be doing the same way in English. Here's, good, better, best. There's yoter and hachi, better and best in Hebrew. And we'll be doing something else with hachi soon. So then you just continue with the rest of the videos and do the same thing. Then the next one is continuing with this hachi theme, hachi Yisraeli. So this is a video. It's a popular slang rappy type song. The lyrics are here ahead of time because they go really, really fast. And if you're trying to catch them then, it's almost impossible. And if you look at this also, Damka, matka. You see a lot of it is just kind of like silly words, so don't get too worried about it, but you will hopefully notice certain things like Shimon Peres or Ben Gurion. There's certain like cultural things about Israel, because the whole song is about what is super Israeli and what are the things we super love about Israel. So hopefully you'll be able to pick those out, and then you can write whatever you understood here. Here are some of the things that are very Israeli, and you'll sort them into which ones are places and which ones are foods, and then continue with that. And that is it. The mobile I will do for next time. So,
okay.
That's it for now.
Awesome.
All right.
Cool.
Let me know if you have any questions.
You're in Israel, right?
Yes.
Are you in Israel?
I am in Israel.
Where do you live?
I live in Ma'ale Adumim,
like
outside of Jerusalem.
Okay. So you don't have so far sirens or?
Currently no sirens here, though they're preparing our bomb shelters. It's scary times.
Ugh.
Hopefully everyone will be safe. But
I hope you and all your friends and family are good.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
And hopefully we can meet next week and it will all be normal.
Yes, God willing. God willing. Looking forward to that. Yes.
So, cool. Thank you. I'm sorry that I was late. I will be on time next week.
No problem.
Thank you.
Have a good week.
You too. Bye.
Bye.